A longtime Democratic strategist explains to a CNN panel why the Democrats are about to suffer a major loss. And we have Democrats' messaging is completely terrible going into these midterm elections. All of that and more here on The Bald Brad Show. Welcome to The Bald Brad Show. It is Monday, November 7th, and as always, support the show by hitting that like and subscribe button, as well as leaving your opinions in the comment section below regarding anything that we cover in today's episode. Your help and support would be greatly appreciated. With that being said, let's jump right into our lead story of the day regarding a longtime Democratic strategist issuing a dire warning to Democrats ahead of the 2022 midterm elections. Hilary Rosen, a self-described strong progressive Democrat, slammed her own party on a CNN panel for not listening to voters. I mean, it was more than not listening to voters. Hell, you were just basically ignoring them for 2 years. But here's the discussion on that panel.
Hilary, you have a different take maybe than Bakari on Democrats.
Yeah, I mean, I think Marc is right.
As a Democrat.
I'm a loyal Democrat, but I am not happy. I just think that we did not listen to voters in this election, and I think we're going to have a bad night. And, this conversation is not going to have much impact on Tuesday, but I hope it has an impact going forward, because when voters tell you over and over and over again that they care mostly about the economy, listen to them. Stop talking about democracy being at stake. Democracy is at stake because people are fighting so much about what elections mean. I mean, voters have told us what they wanted to hear, and I don't think Democrats have really delivered this cycle.
I think that's actually very true about the national messaging that's going on. But you actually have some good candidates who are following your advice. You have people like Marc Kelly, who is running a great race. You have people like Raphael Warnock, who's running a great race, and Josh Shapiro,
I would say in those places,
Fetterman and Tim Ryan.
Have our,
Sorry, did he just say Fetterman? Look, Fetterman suffered a really, really bad stroke. But that is also a reason why he shouldn't be running. The guy can't think clearly, nor can he talk clearly. I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what Joe Biden's excuse is, because he's not giving us any cognitive or medical reports out there as far as why he slurs his words or forgets where he is, fights with the teleprompter, falls up a flight of stairs. Hell, there's a list of issues. But I just think it's interesting of like, well, we have great candidates out there. Fetterman's just killing it. Really? Oh, God.
The unfortunate combination of strong gubernatorial candidates, like Marc Kelly is I was just in Arizona and spent some time there, talked to a bunch of voters. Marc Kelly's popular, but Kari Lake is more popular. And the combination of Kari Lake's popularity and Joe Biden's unpopularity is going to hurt Marc Kelly. And so I think we're in trouble because of the top of the ticket.
Are you going to interrupt her and disagree with her?
I don't want to break up Dem on Dem violence. Exactly. But I feel like,
I just want to pause it there and we'll continue, because she said something really important, that they're in trouble because of the top of the ticket. But it just shows you that she's ignoring voters as well, because it's not just the top of the ticket. Hell, it's those that are running as governors or just Congress in general, which is why they want to vote for somebody that's a Republican rather than somebody that's a Democrat for their state. So you can't just say it's the top of the ticket. They want to get rid of everybody. You got crime is up. You guys can't handle your own states. I mean, it's thing after thing within these localities or even these states where the Democrats have been running the show for quite some time. And look, people are tired of it. They're absolutely tired of it. So she is wrong. They're saying, well, it's just the top of the ticket. No, it's not.
Blake Masters is going to win Arizona because the reality is that the border is a serious issue down there. And to Hillary's point, the Democrats have not talked about how are we going to do to fix inflation at a 40-year high. What are we going to do to control the border? What are we going to do to handle crime?
It's not because of facts, Marc. I don't think we're in trouble because of facts. I think we're in trouble because of
What? They're not in trouble because of facts? By the way, he just mentioned everything that I was just talking about. So she's wrong once again. And then she's going to say that's not about the facts. It is about the facts. You got 40-year record inflation. CPI is up. You got Russia invading Ukraine because nobody respects Joe Biden. Hell, you have freaking North Korea launching ICBMs off the freaking coast there going into the sea. You got Japan worried about that. You got these hotcakes of stimulus checks being sent out, which increased inflation. You got Joe Biden not wanting to drill more oil domestically because of all the environmentalists. I mean, it's thing after thing, which goes back to the facts, which we'll go to in just one moment here.
You're in huge trouble because of the facts.
You guys were in office for a long time.
The reality is inflation's at a 40-year high because of specifically the spending policy.
You were in office for a long time and did nothing to fix immigration. You never passed a bill. You never got anything
because of what you guys have done.
We have an economic story to tell.
Yeah.
People actually like our policies better on the economy.
You're kidding yourself.
And we have not been.
This lady is clueless, and this is a Democratic strategist, and she was sounding really good there at the beginning, but at the end there, once he started talking, of course, Republican bashing, Democrat. Then she gets all up in arms, and all of a sudden she goes a little bit loony here, going, well, it's not about the facts. It's about the top of the ticket. You guys said nothing about immigration. Really? I mean, literally no president in U.S. history has seen the immigration numbers that we're seeing right now. So yes, it is the top of the ticket, but it also has to do with your states as well that don't want to sit there and protect the border. Check this out, because we just got numbers that came out regarding October. Border Patrol agents apprehended nearly 210,000 illegal immigrants at the southern border in October, according to preliminary numbers obtained by the Federation of American Immigration Reform, meaning it's most likely going to be worse. They're just preliminary numbers that show yet another rise in the level of chaos along the U.S.-Mexico border. Check this out. Agents tallied another virtually 90,000 known gotaways in 1 month that they spotted crossing and know they weren't able to apprehend, meaning it's actually more than that. Those are ones that they actually know about, that they spotted, that they recorded. What about the ones that made it through that nobody has no idea about? They believe to be the highest number ever detected, and paints an even grimmer picture of what's going on at the border. But facts don't matter, according to Democratic strategists. Facts just absolutely are out the window. That's not why they're losing. Nope. Well, in parts of Arizona where she said, the gubernatorial is just doing phenomenal, but Lake is doing way better. She's more popular. Of course she's more popular, because whoever's running the show there absolutely is dog doo-doo. Agents have reported missing roughly as many as migrants as they managed to catch. The number of 210,000 illegal border jumpers are up more than 30% compared to October of 2021, meaning things have literally continued to get worse, not better. When agents tallied 160,000 apprehensions, and it trounces the Trump years, when roughly 69,000 were caught in October of 2020 and just 35,000 were nabbed in October 2019. Oh, well, you guys didn't do anything to finish the border. You weren't doing anything about immigration. Really? Because those numbers don't see anywhere near as bad as the numbers that Joe Biden's getting. But, facts don't matter, folks. Facts don't matter whatsoever. Alejandro Mayorkas, the DHS secretary, is doing everything he possibly can. How the hell does that guy still have his job? Honestly, can somebody let me know in the comment section, how does that guy still have a job? That he's not doing anything at the southern border? Nothing at all. But again, folks, just like you heard her say, this is why Democrats are losing, because they don't have a clue. They don't listen to voters. And it's not about listening to voters. You've completely ignored them for 2 years, and this is proof here. They're pissed. And then you got Republicans like DeSantis or Abbott busing these little immigrants to New York City, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and other places. And then those localities get up in arms because they can't support them. And we're talking like 11,000. They see 11,000 in a day in Texas and Arizona. And they can't even handle 11,000 in the span of 3 months. Where literally they were popping up tents, if you recall. And these tents had recreation centers where there was plasma TVs, Xboxes, 3 meals a day, a revolving menu, laundry services, couches, rugs. I mean, the whole shebang they got for them. And this is the stuff they're going to push and peddle. And then they can't wonder why they're going to sit there and get shellacked here. But it's the top of the ticket. That's the problem. At no point is it the localities there, even though you have localities that are running this country, or at least supporting the country, going right down into the ground. So there you have it on that one. Are you ready for this next segment, folks? If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button, because we have Joe Biden here. We have a clip of him talking about no more drilling, no more drilling. Now, I just got to bring you back a little bit here. Just about 2 weeks ago, when you had Peter Doocy questioning Karine Jean-Pierre regarding oil and drilling, and then we'll play the clip from Joe Biden for you. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Okay. Thank you, Karine. So you're asking oil companies to further lower gas prices. What makes you think that they are going to listen to an administration that is ultimately trying to put them out of business?
How is the administration trying to put them out of business?
Well, they produce fossil fuels, and this president says he wants to end fossil fuel.
So look, you kind of asked me this question yesterday, and here's where we would say U.S. oil production is up and on track to reach a record high next year. We've seen that from from when we see their profit margins. It's record high. And so, in fact, the United States has produced more oil in President Biden's first year than under Trump's administration's first year. But at the same time, oil companies are raking in record profits, while more than 9,000 approved drilling permits remain untapped by the oil industry. There is no shortage of opportunity or incentive for oil companies to ramp up production. This is something that they can actually do. It is available to them. They can do this. And also, they are getting the profits. And so because they're getting, I just showed 60 cents on the chart, more profit, right, that that we're seeing, higher costs that we're seeing than what retailers are paying at the pump, they can bring that down. They've done it before. You saw that at the chart in the beginning. They were able to bring prices down.
And one more that folds in the president's.
It's just amazing. So that's her messaging, right? I mean, everybody could tell she BS'd her way through that one. She struggled real hard. But let's see what the president just said 2 days before the midterm elections here, where Joe Biden clearly states he is for no more oil drilling, folks. It's unbelievable that Karine Jean-Pierre, well, how, Peter? Why would you say something like that? Oh, my God.
No more drilling. There is no more drilling. I haven't formed any new drilling. No, that was before I was president. We're trying to work on that, get that done. Thank you.
God, you got to love the fact that Joe Biden just snaps out there, we're not going to drill anymore. I've said it enough times. Like, the whole segment here is about the Democratic Party's messaging here going into the midterms and what it's basically been for 2 years, which is why nobody wants to support a Democrat. But President Joe Biden snapped at a young woman, as you just saw on tape, who attended a political rally that he hosted on Sunday at Sarah Lawrence College in New York for gubernatorial candidate Kathy Hochul. Biden said, quote, no more drilling. There's no more drilling. I haven't formed any new drilling. And this is what was kind of hard to pick up from this lady in the crowd on the mics. She said, there are at least 5 more years of offshore drilling in the Atlantic or the Pacific, but in the Antarctic and off the Gulf of Mexico. Biden responded, that was before I was president. We're trying to work on that and get that done. Oh, goody. So not only is he making matters worse, but he's making an effort to make matters worse. But we were told by the administration, Karine Jean-Pierre, which is the mouthpiece for Joe Biden, that he's doing everything he can to absolutely solve this issue of energy, folks. I'm telling you, I know I'm repeating myself, but the messaging is terrible because Biden's remarks here just come after he said late last week that he was going to be shutting down coal plants across the country amid of an energy crisis. Folks, you can't make this up. This is so much content. It's unbelievable. And then remember, you just had a Democratic strategist in the first segment say, well, it's not about the facts. Nope, not about the facts. They're so out of touch. I was in Massachusetts about a month ago on the site of the largest oil coal plant in America. Guess what? It cost them too much money, Biden said at an event in Carlsbad, California. Quote, no one is building new coal plants because they can't rely on it, even if they have all the coal guaranteed for the rest of the existence of the planet. So it's going to become a wind generation. Oh, well, isn't that just lovely? And then Karine Jean-Pierre can't fathom why she's being asked the question of, hey, what are you going to do when you run them out of business? She's like, well, why would we run them out of business? Because that is what you guys want to do. You're literally saying you don't want any more fossil fuels. That's what you said on the campaign trail, which we covered here on the Bald Brad Show. The messaging sucks. It's going to continue to suck because you also have a Democratic representative, James Clyburn, saying if you don't vote against election deniers, you're a Nazi. Folks, this is all coming out right before the midterms. It's just unbelievable here. We have a clip of it. Let's go ahead and roll it.
Congressman. If people want to deny it, that's fine. But the facts are very clear. I've studied history all of my life.
Okay.
I taught history. And I'm telling you, what I see here are parallels to what the history was in this world back in the 1930s.
So, Congressman,
in Germany, in Italy.
Okay. Are voters, though, out there listening to this message to infer from what you're saying that if they don't vote for Democrats in this election, that they are somehow supporting something akin to the rise of Hitler?
No. If they don't vote against election deniers, if they don't vote...
No. Let me be more clear.
Vote against liars. People who lie, know full well they're lying. We all know they're lying. This was the cleanest election in the history of the country. Congressman. And people want to deny.
This was the cleanest election in the history of the country. Come on. Does anybody believe that? I mean, we've talked about it at length here on the Bald Brad Show. We got a lot of new viewers, a lot of new subscribers. Welcome, and make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. But we literally talked about how there's registered voters that somehow vote, but there was no property of which they registered, or at least on the register rolls there. I mean, you can go out and look, and there's like no property around. There's literally actually no housing track. It's just in the middle of the desert. Some properties somehow are on a freeway. So don't give me this as the cleanest election in history and push all this stuff. But it's not going to stop them from just being just completely asinine. But he's a history teacher, you guys. He knows history, and he knows there's parallels and connections and associations to all this stuff taking place, but does not have a mirror in his house that looks at his own party for pushing socialist idea and just crazy asinine ideas as well. It doesn't stop there, though, because speaking of election deniers and that, you're a Nazi if you just sit there and question the election or integrity of election, you literally have in Indiana, election officials removed a Democrat poll worker last week for allegedly pre-selecting Democratic candidates and pressuring citizens to vote for specific candidates. Cleanest elections in history, folks. Nothing to see here. You have 2,000 mules coming out tracking people. You have ballot harvesting. Literally, they were paying people to ballot harvest and vote a certain way and giving them like $10. But cleanest in history, folks. And if you doubt that, or question that, you're a Nazi, according to Democrats here. Beth Scheller, an election administrator for Hamilton County, told Fox News Digital that an inspector report allegedly identified 2 separate incidences at a polling location in Carmel, Indiana. The incidents may constitute electioneering and election interference by a poll worker named James Zhang. Zhang has been accused of telling black voters not to vote for the racist candidates outside. So now you're a racist. I mean, the name calling is unbelievable. You saw it from The View. You hear it from Joe Biden. You're an ultra MAGA, right? You're an extremist. You're a threat to democracy. You're racist, xenophobe. I mean, the litany of name calling, and it just continues here. So now you have the poll workers doing the job of the Democrat Party there, freaking just pushing people and basically twisting their arm to vote for the Democrat Party because they're saying that Republicans are racist. The messaging is unbelievable, and then they can't fathom why they're losing. They're having new whole panels on CNN and MSNBC trying to figure out, well, it's all about the economy. Yes, it is about the economy. It's also about the southern border. It's also about our foreign policy, our domestic policy. You calling Republicans racist. You running your freaking states in the ground. You wanting to defund the police. Wanting to get rid of our Second Amendment. You're trying to chisel away at our First Amendment rights. I mean, it's thing after thing after thing, but they don't get it, folks, which is why they're all about to be shellacked tomorrow come the midterms, folks. Well, there you have it. You have Democrat strategists telling everybody why the hell the Democrats are going to get shellacked. And then we also have supporting up here the Democratic messaging coming up from the Biden administration, the localities, as well as other Democratic nominees, candidates, hell, history teachers that want to sit there and call you a Nazi just because you ask questions about an election that supposedly is the fairest and best election that's ever existed in the history of mankind. It's unbelievable stuff, folks. But make sure you support us by hitting that like and subscribe button. I'll see you tomorrow here on The Bald Brad Show.